Alright, what's good everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a question that's been buzzing in my head ever since I rewatched Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse. You know, that jaw-dropping animated banger from 2023. Does this movie, with its wild multiverse vibes and slick Spider Society shenanigans, actually lay the groundwork for the Marvel Cinematic Universe's future? Especially now that we're in May 2025? I mean, we're deep in the multiverse saga with the Fantastic Four. First Steps dropping in a couple of months, and Avengers, Doomsday on the horizon. So, let's unpack this, have a little fun, and figure out if Miles Morales and his crew are secretly pulling strings for the MCU. Grab a snack, settle in, and let's get to it. Before going into more detail, we look forward to your likes and comments on this topic. First off, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the multiverse. Across the Spider-Verse is like a love letter to the multiverse, throwing us into a million different worlds with every Spider-Person you can imagine. Spider-Ham, Spider-Man 2099, even a freaking Lego Spider-Man. And yeah, it name drops the MCU in a way that had my jaw on the floor. You remember that scene where Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099, goes off about Doctor Strange and that little nerd from Earth 1999? Yo, that's a straight-up reference to Tom Holland's Peter Parker and the chaos of Spider-Man. No Way Home. It's like Sony was winking at us saying, yeah, we see you MCU fans. But here's the thing. Does that one-liner actually mean Across the Spider-Verse is setting up the MCU's future? I mean, it's cool to hear Miguel shade Peter Parker, but it's more of a nod than a blueprint. The movie's got Donald Glover popping up as a live-action Prowler, which ties back to his role in Spider-Man: Homecoming. That's another dope connection, hinting that Miles Morales exists in the MCU's universe, even if we haven't seen him swing through New York yet. But let's be real, these are Easter eggs, not a roadmap. The MCU's been doing its own multiverse thing with Loki, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and now your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, that animated series that just dropped in January 2025. So, while Across the Spider-Verse plays, in the same sandbox, it's not exactly passing the baton. Here's where I'm gonna keep it 100. The Spider-Verse trilogy, Into, Across, and the upcoming Beyond the Spider-Verse, is Sony's baby. It's not shackled to the MCU's rules or Kevin Feige's grand plan. That's kinda what makes it so fire. The animation style, the storytelling, the way it just vibes. It's free to do whatever it wants, no strings attached. Unlike Spider-Man, No Way Home, which had to juggle Sony and Marvel's agendas, Across the Spider-Verse doesn't have to set up Avengers, Doomsday, or explain why Galactus is about to eat the Fantastic Four's retro-futuristic world. Think about it. Across the Spider-Verse ends on that insane cliffhanger, with Miles trapped in Earth 42, facing his Prowler variant. It's setting up Beyond the Spider-Verse, which, by the way, just got a release date for June 2027 at CinemaCon 2025. That's a whole 4 years after Across. Sony's taking their sweet time to make sure Miles' story wraps up right, and they're not rushing to tie it to the MCU's Phase 6. The focus is on Miles, Gwen, and their crew, not on linking up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man or the X-Men, who are creeping into the MCU with folks like Channing Tatum's Gambit in Doomsday. The Earth 616 versus the Earth 199999 mess okay. Let's get a little nerdy for a sec, cause this part's wild. Across the Spider-Verse stirred up some drama with that Earth 19999999 line. In the MCU, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness confirmed that the main timeline is Earth 616, right? But then Miguel calls Tom Holland's world Earth 19999999, which is what Marvel Comics used to call the MCU in some old handbook. fans lost their minds over this, screaming, "Plot hole!" on Twitter. Sorry, X. So, does this mean Across the Spider-Verse is fixing the MCU's multiverse, or just trolling us? I'm leaning toward trolling. The Spider-Verse movies love to poke fun at superhero tropes, and that line feels like a cheeky jab. There's a theory floating around that the animated Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series, which is set in a different universe, might be Earth 1999, not the main MCU. It's a cool idea, but it's just a theory, and it doesn't mean Across the Spider-Verse is out here solving the MCU's continuity problems. If anything, it's Sony flexing, showing they can reference the MCU without being part of its homework assignment. In 2025, with the Fantastic Four, first steps about to kick off Phase 6, the MCU's more focused on Galactus and Doctor Doom than untangling multiverse labels. Now, let's dream a little. Could Across the Spider-Verse be planting seeds for Miles Morales to swing into the live-action MCU? I mean, we know Sony and Marvel are cool with crossovers. No Way Home brought Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back, and it was straight up legendary. Donald Glover's cameo as the Prowler in Across already bridges the animated and live-action worlds. Plus, Miles is a fan favorite, and the MCU's been teasing younger heroes like Riri Williams in Ironheart, which drops on Disney Plus next month. But here's the catch. The MCU's Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, is gearing up for Spider-Man, Brand New Day, in July 2026. That movie's gonna be a fresh start for Peter, dealing with the fallout of No Way Home, where everyone forgot who he is. Adding Miles to the mix might steal Peter's thunder, and Marvel's not known for rushing their character intros. Sony's also got their own plans, like the Spider-Noir series with Nick Cage, and that female-led Spider-Verse spin-off that's kinda in limbo. If Miles does show up in the MCU, it'd probably be after Beyond the Spider-Verse wraps his trilogy, maybe in Avengers Secret Wars in 2027, where the multiverse is gonna go bananas. Here's my hot take. Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse doesn't need to set up the MCU's future to be a game changer. This movie's already a masterpiece. Gorgeous animation, killer soundtrack, and a story that hits you right in the feels. It's telling Miles' story, not Peter Parker's or Kevin Feige's. The MCU's got its own plans, with Thunderbolts dropping this month and Captain America, Brave New World still fresh in theaters. Sony's Spider-Verse can keep doing its thing, dropping bangers like Beyond the Spider-Verse without worrying about the MCU's multiverse saga. That said, the connections are dope. The Prowler cameo, the No Way Home reference, the multiverse vibes, they show Sony and Marvel are at least talking. Maybe down the line, we'll see Miles team up with Peter, or even the Fantastic Four. But in 2025, the MCU's too busy setting up Doctor Doom. Yo, Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. Can we talk about that? And Sony's focused on making Beyond the Spider-Verse a worthy finale. So, while Across sprinkles some MCU flavor, it's not out here building the future of Phase 6. What's next for the Spider-Verse and the MCU? So, where do we go from here? In 2025, the MCU's about to get wild with the Fantastic Four. First steps in July, introducing Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards and setting up Avengers Doomsday. Meanwhile, Sony's chilling until Beyond the Spider-Verse in 2027, and they're hyping up Spider-Man, Brand New Day with Tom Holland and Sadie Sink, who, by the way, might be Jean Grey, but that's a whole other video. The Spider-Verse trilogy's gonna wrap up Miles' story, and if we're lucky, maybe we'll get a hint about his live-action future. For now, Across the Spider-Verse is more about inspiring the MCU than directly shaping it. Its bold animation and storytelling push the bar higher, showing Marvel what a superhero movie can be when it's not tied to a cinematic universe's baggage. If the MCU takes notes, maybe we'll see some of that Spider-Verse energy in Spider-Man, Brand New Day, or even Avengers: Secret Wars. Alright fam, let's land this. Does Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse set up the MCU's future in 2025? Nah, not really. It's got some slick connections. Shout out to that Doctor Strange diss and Donald Glover's Prowler glow-up. But it's too busy being its own masterpiece to worry about the MCU's game plan. The Spider-Verse is Sony's playground. And Miles Morales is the star, not a sidekick to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. In 2025, the MCU's got its own multiverse party going. And Across is just vibing in its own lane, dropping Easter eggs and looking fly while doing it. What do y'all think? Should Miles Morales swing into the live-action MCU? Or is the Spider-Verse better off doing its own thing? Drop a comment, let me know. And if you want me to dive into Beyond the Spider-Verse predictions, or what's Sadie Sink's role in Spider-Man? 4 could be, hit that like button and tell me. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss the next one. Until then, keep swinging, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.